Exodus 14. Moses is leading his tribe out of Egypt into the Promised Land, which should really take just a few days, tops. Not gonna happen, but along their journey, they have to cross the Red Sea. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Pi-hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea. They are to encamp by the sea, directly opposite Baal-zephon. Pharaoh will think the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord." So the Israelites did this. Haven't we hardened Pharaoh's heart enough? Now we're just messing with him. Plus, after all the plagues, including the genocide of the Egyptian firstborn sons, I'm pretty sure they know who God is. He's the guy who destroyed their families. They don't want to see God again. Why is he bullying them? It's really just stalking at this point. Even though the Israelites are on their way to the Promised Land, God's like, "Hey guys, turn around. I want to pull another prank on Pharaoh just for funsies." I guess fiction doesn't care about your feelings either. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their services." So he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they camped by the sea near Pi-hahiroth, opposite Baal-zephon. Yeah, Pharaoh, it turns out when you lose all your slaves, you can't get free labor anymore. Deal with it. And you didn't just let them go. Moses and God teamed up to torture you with plagues until you agreed. How short-term is your memory? If someone hardens my heart, I'm pretty sure going on a chariot chase is not helping my health. Didn't all these chariot drivers just lose a child like 2 minutes ago? Don't they need some time to grieve? Why won't Pharaoh give them some bereavement leave? Also, why are these Egyptians listening? They just went through hell with the plagues, and here's their idiot leader telling them to go chase Moses, who just did all that to them. Why aren't they rising up and destroying Pharaoh? Honestly, if you are dumb enough to follow an incompetent leader after he's failed you over and over and over again, you kinda deserve whatever happens to you. And that concludes this Republican parable. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Wow, look at that sarcasm. Hey Moses, what gives? Was the cemetery full back home? Why'd you go through all those plagues just to have us murdered? We'd rather be slaves than hang out with you another second. How bad of a leader do you have to be for your tribe to say they would rather be enslaved than follow you? Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Was that just a low-key threat? If you play dead, Israelites, everyone else is gonna die, and it'll be glorious. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. Even God's like, stop asking me for favors. Haven't I genocided enough? How many hearts is God hardening? He's already done it to Pharaoh like 87 times, and now he's doing it to every Egyptian who's part of the hunt? Calm down, God. But okay. He tells Moses to do some magic that'll part the sea, giving them a quick escape. And then he's gonna give the Egyptians heart disease, or whatever he does, so that they follow the Israelites. Wait, God, you're supposed to genocide, not let the Egyptians follow the Israelites. I found a flaw in the plan. God? Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Throughout the night, the cloud brought darkness to the one side and light to the other side, so neither went near the other all night long. Did we just get distracted from the chase scene to watch God's angel and pet cloud mess with the weather? Can someone explain to me how a cloud can bring light anywhere? That's not what clouds do. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with the strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. One of the most famous scenes in film history, Charlton Heston parting the waters, which, just to be clear, is not a thing that can happen. Water doesn't work like that. I can't believe no one took pictures. And look at how calm everyone is. Moses just parted the sea, and we're told everyone just goes through. None of them are like, what? How? Oh my God, no way! Notice the symbolism, though. A baby who survived near water, even though he was supposed to be drowned, is now controlling the water to suit his needs. Yay, literature! The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots so that they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Really? They didn't catch on to the idea that God might be on the Israelite side when they saw the parted water? They were driving on dry land in the sea, and then they realized, I don't think we're safe here. And I guess none of the plagues taught them they're on the wrong side of biblical history. These people are so dumb. Also, if you're gonna walk through water, maybe just try having a plan in case the levees break. And did you catch that part about the Egyptians pursuing the Israelites with all Pharaoh's horses? Where did they get horses from? All the livestock were killed off in the 5th plague. Is anyone in this book reading this book? You know, God could just zap them dead right now. He did that with their children not that long ago, but instead, he's playing with them. He's jamming their wheels. Why jam the wheels? They're driving the chariots through the bottom of the sea where there used to be water. It's gotta be muddy. Just have the wheels get stuck. Why go through all the trouble of jamming the wheels? It's so much more work on God's part. I would be such a more efficient God. I don't even know why the Egyptians care if their chariots are broken. If your car breaks, ditch it and go run after your enemies. They're on foot. Go chase them. Am I the only one who's been on the run during a heist? Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. Another mass drowning. All because God chose to harden Pharaoh's heart specifically so this would happen. Because God gets off on killing people. How many Egyptian families have now lost 2 members in the span of a couple of days? But since we like symbolism right now, let's keep in mind that the Egyptian men who drowned Israelite baby boys in water have now themselves drowned. Karma's a bitch. But the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. And when the Israelites saw the mighty hand of the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord, and put their trust in him and in Moses his servant. They saw the dead Egyptians and, kept walking? That's cold. So that was the famous Red Sea Massacre. It's supposed to be a display of God's power. It's really just another example of God using water to kill off a whole bunch of people at once because he feels like it. Maybe that's what climate change is. It's just God's way of raising the sea levels to drown us, but he's slow playing it because he's cruel and bored and needs to find a new way to kill people that doesn't attract that much attention.